Jimbo's Garage.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to Jimbo's Garage. Well, today we're going to be continuing our series on small projects that come here into the shop. This came in yesterday. This is just a small aluminum project. This is 1 inch by 1/2 inch thick aluminum, and we've got some flat bar here, and these half rounds need to be welded to this flat bar. The client has marked them A to A, B to B, C to C, and so on and so forth. Like I said, these are different lengths, so these things have to be matched up accordingly. Now, a good way of welding thick aluminum, we're going to be TIG welding this obviously, but a good way of welding thick aluminum is with helium. Helium introduces a lot more heat into thick aluminum and makes it a lot more penetration, a lot more easier to weld. So 50% argon, 50% helium, and it should be a fairly simple project, but I'll take you through all the processes here. So let's get started on today's video. Today's video is sponsored by King Metals. They've got all your fabrication needs in one location. From hinges to hardware, balusters to metal decor, brass to aluminum, and a whole lot more. You name it, they've got it. Check them out today at kingmetals.com. Now let's get back to today's video. All right, so the client has provided me a little sketch or a drawing, if you will, or some plans that how this comes together. So basically, this is obviously the flat bar stock right here. This here is the radius, and they are coordinated. There are some holes drilled in both the radius piece and the flat bar stock here that need to coincide with each other. The plans say fully weld, grind smooth with a powder coat finish. So what we're going to do is go ahead and bevel the edges on both of these right here so I can get some full penetration in there so we can fill the weld in there, and then we'll grind that smooth, and it will be ready for the powder coat finish. Let me just kind of show you what we got here. So here's the flat bar stock right here, and there's a series of holes drilled all the way down, and then this is the radius piece right here. And then as you can see, this is the way this goes together, is like this right here. All right, and so you can see that gap there. We're gonna grind these edges, fill this. These holes all are lined up with each other all the way around. So anyways, that's the plan. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so the first thing we're doing over here at the Burger King is beveling the edges a little bit on this aluminum here. You know, we definitely want good penetration. It's a small little project. This is 1/2 inch thick material, and they want these welds ground flat, so we want to prepare a spot that the filler material will penetrate in there good. The next thing I'm doing here is just squaring off my welding table. I'm creating a square line. These radius pieces were cut out with a laser cutter, and so they're perfectly square, and so I have clamped the flat piece of bar stock down square, and then I'm just taking the edge of that radius piece and matching it up with the edge at the top right there, and that's going to be nice and square. One thing I forgot to do right here, I wanted to, is just wipe these edges down with some acetone and clean everything off really nice and clean. I didn't want to break the thing down to do that. All right, operating off the HTP Invertig 301 AC/DC machine here. We're going to be running at about 180 amps. We're going to give that a try. And then this is the 50% argon, 50% helium. And this is the very first one, and so we're going to give this a shot. You know, it doesn't take much. I pretty much just touched the foot pedal right here, and the puddle was already going, and just introduced some filler rod, and that just flowed right in there nicely. So the little bit of benefit with the helium there versus straight argon on thick aluminum like this is it's really hot, really fast, and you get some good penetration. So this being the first one right here, I'm just trying to feel things out and see how things are going to go, and looks pretty good. So far so good. Pretty happy with that. And then just the backside right here. You know, I was really worried about maybe burning too much or burning through, but everything seemed to go pretty good. A little bit of blending in action right there just to finish it off. The next step is to clamp everything down and to grind the welds. Now I've got a dedicated angle grinder there with a flap disc, and then 4 aluminum, and then just a little beeswax on that flap disc right there does wonders. Does not load up the flap disc, grinds really well. One thing I wanted to do here is be really careful. It doesn't take too much to grind too much aluminum off, and so I was just being a little careful, just feeling things out here, seeing how things are going to work. For inside this corner right here, you can see I've got a rounded flap disc. Now this is something I got off of Amazon a couple years ago. These things work really good for inside corner joints. Really nice and clean. It cleans things up nicely where you couldn't get in there before. A little non-woven pad right here to smooth things up. And that was the first one, and I'm pretty happy with the way that turned out. So I got 3 more to do, and I'm just repeating the same process right here. You know, the Bird King does a great job of just beveling these edges and all these pieces. A great tool to have in the shop. This Bird King has really been a great addition. All right, set up my jig again. Just line things up. Pretty simple process, you know. It's these little jobs that come into the shop that I really enjoy. Something different, you know. I'm not doing the same thing twice. It's a little challenging if you don't do a lot of aluminum welding, or this is nice to have something like this come in. You can see, watch how much of this this filler metal that I use right here. I use everything right down to the last 2 inches, I think, right in here, and it was like, that is about enough. I can't use any more of that. The filler metal is 5356 aluminum, 3/32, and it works really good. It's working really good right here. It's just like anything you do. If for instance, I've got 4 of these pieces right here, and you saw me do the very first one, and that was kind of like an experiment to see how things are going to go. That worked out really good, and so the more you do, the better you get at it. And of course, after the 4th one, I had it dialed in pretty good. But if I was doing 15 of them, I'm sure that it'd even be better. But it's a great learning process. It's a great for me it is. It's very satisfying to be able to do different projects and be able to work with different welding processes and see how things come together. Another piece of filler metal down to nothing. A little couple touch-up pieces right here. All right, so there's the last 3 right there. Got them all done. And just grinding these down again, just showing you, and I think I had mentioned in the last one, you just got to be careful. You cannot take too much. So that little rounding, that little rounded flap disc, I got my first one about a couple years ago, and I tried it out, and it was just perfect for inside corner joints and stuff like this where you just can't get in there with a flap disc, and just does such a really good job. Got them on Amazon. I picked up a couple of them, and don't use them all the time, but when you need them, you need them. And of course, this is the Champion ceramic trimmable flap discs. This is 60 grit. That is my go-to. I do have a lot of different flap discs from Champion, but this, that is the go-to for me. It works the best for most of the stuff that I do. And I'm not certain what these things are. I think the client told me they're going to be some sort of shelving bracket or something. That's all I got out of it. During the whole time I was putting these things together, I'm trying to figure out shelving bracket, radius, what? I don't know. Maybe I didn't get the real reason they're using them for, but that's what it sounded like he said, and trying to figure out how that works. But nevertheless, I just do the job. All right, well, there they all are. Simple little project. I hope you guys learned something from it, and I hope you enjoyed watching it. Don't forget to check out my website at JIMBO'sGarage.com for torch lead holders, table dogs, a little bit of merchandise there. All right, guys, we'll see you on the next video.
See you next time on Jimbo's Garage.